Good evening, my name is Josh Morris. Tonight we will be discussing the evolution of horror cinema. Almost as long as we have been telling stories, we have included elements of horror. From Greek mythologies, Medusa, to the Bible's demons and giants. Horror has always been there. So it should come as no surprise that not long after the invention of the motion picture camera, the first horror film was made. George Méliès's The Devil's Castle was made in 1896 and is credited with creating the horror genre. With its then controversial depictions of bats, witches, skeletons, and ghosts, it paved the way for future horror cinema. As time went on, advances in technology and increased popularity in cinema opened the doors for the big studios to step into the horror genre. The Universal monsters were a hit and increased popularity in the horror genre tremendously. As time went on, the advances in cameras, makeup, and special effects opened the doors for lower budget horror to take over. Slasher and exploitation films saturated the market with cheap, gory, sex-filled genre films that pushed the boundaries as far as they could go. The bigger budget studios still made horror films, but they kept the gore down and tried to keep them tame enough for a wider audience. These films helped make great advances in special effects. The effects teams and makeup artists came up with many creative ways to make the gore more believable. From casting the actors' body parts to make gory prosthetics, to using creative camera tricks and practical effects, each film strived to make every kill more believable. As time went on, digital cameras and computer editing began to replace traditional filmmaking methods. CGI began to make its mark on the horror genre as well. Now, instead of putting a man in a giant monster suit and having him destroy a miniature city, VFX artists could just create a monster in their computer and throw him on top of footage of a city and create the destruction. For a while, this actually hurt the practical effects artists because all of a sudden they were out of work. As time went on and technology advanced even further, cameras became smaller and more affordable and better quality. All of a sudden, everyone had an almost cinema quality capable camera in their pocket. This opened the doors for pretty much everyone to become a filmmaker. And with the rise in YouTube and vlogging, we saw an increase in found footage style movies. Films like Paranormal Activity and Quarantine made use of found footage style filmmaking. These put the viewer in the action as if they were there, and have become increasingly popular over the past few years. Cell phone cameras have increased in quality so much, feature-length films have been created on only iPhones. Steven Soderbergh's recent film Unsane was shot entirely on the iPhone. What could this mean for the future of horror cinema? As technology advances, it will only become easier to make higher quality films without a huge budget. I could only see it getting better and better over time.